What happens when you finally, okay, start reclaiming and stepping into your self-worth? Meaning, what happens when you finally start to feel worthy, safe, confident, really just content and like accepting of yourself, all your flaws, whatever? What happens when you start embodying that feeling, when you really start feeling that way? Everything changes for the better. Your relationships start to improve. You stop settling for less. And let's say, for example, professionally, like maybe you've been in this same career for 10 years and you're like, okay, I'm still here in this job, or I'm still in this industry because this is what I was told and taught is worthy of doing. Yet you hate it. You feel so disconnected from it. So when you stop putting so much weight on getting, approved and liked by society and living by, typical generic societal standards, you really start taking your life and your power back. You really start getting curious and believing in yourself that, okay, I'm not going to keep staying at this job because I've been like hating it for the last 8 years. Like I'm done. Like you will have the courage and you will get the downloads and you will start getting the ideas, my love, of, okay, what are my next steps to go ahead and transition to shift into this new career, right? This is just an example of what happens when you start reclaiming your self-worth, when you start doing the inner work of setting boundaries where they need to be set, of no longer identifying with your past and the traumas there that have happened or the rejections there that have happened, right? Like you just start showing up, living in a way that feels true and good for you. All right. You no longer settle or tolerate these really dysfunctional, this was my video, before this one, dysfunctional relationships with people. Let's say you have this family member who is like very just passive aggressive. They only show up when it's convenient for them. Like you're like, no, you set a boundary there and you start like taking back your energy, your time, and your effort and putting it towards what you want to put it towards instead of having it leak out in that dysfunctional relationship, right? Let's say you're someone who is single and you have consciously or maybe even unconsciously, but let's say you're someone who has been single for quite some time, but you want a partner, right? You want a partner in crime, or you want just a life partner, right? Someone to share your life with, share life experiences with. So when you are embodying your self-worth, you start to respect yourself, you're going to start magnetizing a healthy partner. You're going to start attracting a healthy person who can meet you where you're at. You know why? Because now you are that healthy person emotionally. You have these healthy self-respecting boundaries. You have learned how to meet your needs. So you're going to attract someone and call someone in and magnetize someone who also knows how to meet their own needs. They're not expecting you to fix their life. And they also know how to, because you're so good at meeting yours, you're going to attract them, that type of person. And then you guys are really going to be able to create a relationship together. I mean, I'm telling you, that's amazing. Like, if that is, that was one of the top things that I did while I went on this journey of healing from my past trauma, creating a new identity in myself by creating new concepts, by really creating some new healthy habits, right? Setting boundaries where they were scared. That's how I called in the love of my life, Andre, who I've been with. It'll be 10 years in March. And right now it is August of 2025. So I've been with my partner. It'll be 10 years and we have this beautiful 3-year-old together, my daughter. Like none of that ever would have happened if I hadn't embarked on taking personal responsibility and accountability for doing my inner work, my healing work, okay? And rediscovering my self-worth and my confidence. That's how I had this amazing relationship now. I'm just giving like a personal story. Just personal example. And I'm not saying we're perfect, definitely not. We argue just like any normal person. Actually, arguing is actually healthy. If there's never an issue, well, then that's an issue. But we know how to repair, we know how to recover, and we grow from whatever challenges we have. Okay. The other thing that finally starts happening is new, exciting, fulfilling opportunities and adventures start making their way into your sight, right? You start having these new opportunities and experiences show up in your life, and you're no longer afraid to not take a hold of them and get on board with them. That's what happens when you rediscover your self-worth. Okay, when you're on this journey back to rediscovering your self-worth, again, by creating these new healthy habits, by setting these self-respecting boundaries, having challenging conversations where you're advocating for yourself, right? Really like unpacking, processing, okay, and letting go of these past traumatic experiences, like from your past, but also in adulthood. Like when you start clearing out the junk, things change. Everything, not things, but everything in your life changes for the better. I've created this rewrite your story coaching exercise. I really think that can help you start unpacking some past things, to help you start, processing them, healing them, no longer identifying with them, and making them your identity. So definitely check out that exercise if you want to start doing that deeper inner work. The link to is below in the description to that coaching exercise. It's a PDF. It's totally free. You can print it out and start working on it. And then I'll wrap up here. Join me in September. If you're into health, if you're into boundaries, if you were into making some bold moves, you want to learn how to do that. You're at a stage in your life to where you're really ready to get some good habits in place that are practical, sustainable, but quite a bit of a challenge too, because maybe you're like me, you're a woman in your 40s and you're like, I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm going to share some of that with you too in September. All right, I'm rambling. I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in September, which is next week on Tuesday. Bye for now.